This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, and we also have one more with us, Justin Jarrett, Wes Kerr, and Misa Garzon wearing the hat of Mad Max fill-in tonight. You never know what Misa's title is going to be when he logs in. But tonight he's filling the Max chair. Max is working with his dad tonight. He said he was working down on the south end when it started raining. So I don't know what work they're doing down there, but I hope they're staying out of this weather. It is another stormy Monday. This seems to be a trend.
Man, I just cannot be able to get out. Every Monday I can't only watch some baseball, man. And every time we get rained out, so we'll have to try again tomorrow. It's going to be another busy Tuesday. Can we?
What's
Apparently
that?
Mondays have been the rain day. But
right, exactly.
Much better.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting rained out every Monday, and that makes Tuesdays really chaotic, especially for those athletic directors out there who now have soccer and baseball and softball and everybody playing on the same nights and trying to figure out buses. Everybody got rained out pretty much tonight. I know Legacy Christian got theirs in up at Northside Christian. We maybe could have, if we could have like moved up the start time or something, but we got dumped on in Hardyville about 4 o'clock. Got rain, pretty heavy rain. Like it would have been a little work to get the field ready. And then, so even though it kind of held off this evening longer than you would have thought, I don't know that we would have gotten it in.
Yeah,
and
it would be
as you know, me said our place, there's nowhere to go.
Mm-mm.
If a storm blows in, we got nowhere. It's a long ways to any kind of shelter. So, wouldn't have been a great situation. So we scrapped our game with Hilton Head, bummer, but we did reschedule for the 24th of April. So the Seahawks come to the Ville then. Wes, how you been, man? Have a good weekend?
Really fun.
You're watching this basketball game, right?
Yeah, keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on here on this. We should have a really good podcast tonight. But I'm not gonna lie. It's another rough day. Just a lot going on, and fine. But the
grind is real. The grind is real this time of year, and I've been feeling it lately. I think I had sun poisoning from this weekend or something. I was so tired today.
Yeah, maybe the
rain out
saved
saved me because I came home and took a nap.
Yeah, maybe the weather has a bit to do with it as well. But I'm looking forward to doing a little bit more tomorrow. We've got USC baseball in action tomorrow against Middle Georgia, so we got that to look forward to, and a lot more spring sports after this rain out today. But still, a lot of guests to converse with today. Some waiting in the green room.
In fact, yes, we've got some great guests tonight. And if you saw the show description, you know that we're going to have our super awesome friend Jeff Riley and his coach, Coach Brad Samardzija from SOAR Special Recreation, going to join us. They're going to the Special Olympics. I think the regional tournament or something coming up, and then if they make it on to state. So, but we'll get down to the details with Coach Brad and find out what the path is. Because this is like it's April, but it's like their March Madness, right? They're trying to survive in advance and go on to the next one as we watch this national championship game. Houston and Florida in the final. I know I had that in my bracket. I have Florida over Houston. I did not have a stellar bracket early, but I'll tell you that. But I think, Wes, you've clinched it, right?
Yes. For the second year in a row, winning the Lowco bracket pool. We're gonna have to find some.
We got to find some competition for you.
Yeah, I was gonna say. It was tight. A couple of picks. It's the picks in the middle rounds that decide it. And,
right.
Every point counts. So make sure those 8-9 matchups are sometimes the difference.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of when you get loose with the. I use the philosophy of picking the upsets early and the chalk late. But I kind of pick my bracket backwards in a way. Like I look at who will I take to the Sweet 16 out of this one, and then I'm not going to pick them to get upset. Right. So I might pick an upset on the other one because it's a low risk thing for me. But I probably lose bracket pools on those because I often finish second or third and just a few points behind, a couple picks behind, and I probably lose it on gambling on Yale or somebody.
What did not look great. Did not look great because it looked like Duke was going to
It did.
roll. They were rolling, then just an utter collapse there at
They
the
choked.
end. But
Choke.
who knows?
Choke. It was a choke. It was a choke.
100%.
But let's enough of that. I'm sure our friends from under the bus will have a lot to say about that.
Oh, it's been a joy to be on a text thread with Curry Kirkpatrick the last few days. Let's put it that way.
You might need to put a disclaimer on that one, just PG-13 or R-rated for that.
Yeah, well, they do carry the explicit tag on under the bus because you never know what Curry's going to say in particular. He will say some words that you're not supposed to say on television, but you can say on the YouTubes and the podcasts. So we just put that explicit tag on there so nobody can say they didn't know that old men with the mandate might say some things. but yeah, we're going to talk here in a bit with Jeff Riley and Coach Brad about the upcoming Special Olympics stuff. We're going to talk lots of other stuff: baseball, softball, soccer, all the things happening in the spring. But Misa, you guys got a huge win the other night over Bishop England. We talked about it a little bit at the end of the show. I got a text from you that you had the energy to come on. I can't imagine why. But we were already winding down, and I had a long day of travel softball dadding ahead of me. So we weren't able to get you in then. But tell us about your guys, man. Back tied atop the table now after a huge win.
Yeah, no, it was a huge game. So obviously, in region 1 and 2, BE hadn't lost a region game up to that point. Our only loss in region was to Bishop England. So we knew it was going to be a tough game. The first time they kind of caught us slipping, scoring 3 goals in the first half, scoring the first goal in about 50 seconds. So
my internet's struggling, so the video quality is not great.
Yeah, that's the 1987 video of our 1987 game against Bishop England.
There we go.
Brought
Now
to you by Analog TV. But no, they scored the first goal at their place was in 50 seconds. So we figured it'd only be fair if we returned the favor, and we scored our goal in about 35 seconds.
It's lagging again.
Trying to get it going early. And just hold on. This was a playoff game. It wasn't a pretty game. The stats were not the best. I think both teams only had like 6 shots total on goal each, which is unlike both teams. Bishop England's strength is our defense. Our strength is our offense. So, you had kind of that offense versus defense who would win. But I think one thing, I mentioned it last time I was on here, that people kind of sleep on with us is our defense. Our defense is pretty solid. We do a very good job. So it showed Friday night. Penalties are freshmen. Freshman goalkeeper had to put in. Our senior keeper had an injury halfway through the second half. He stepped up, saved a penalty to kind of secure us to win. And then Michael Fleek, in a weird, ironic moment, the last shot to win us the game. So So here we are.
History repeating itself years later. Six years
Yeah,
later.
so
2019, 2019 when Joel Fleek delivered the incredible heroics in the lower state title match.
didn't you guys score twice in rapid succession in that
Yes,
game?
and it was Fleek twice, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Both
it was
times?
2 times. Yeah. It was 2 times in 2 official minutes, about 3.5 with stoppage time. We scored to tie it, Fleek, and then Fleek shot like a 25-yard, I wouldn't say bomb. He just shot it at the goal to make something happen. The keeper missed it completely. It went in, and we held on for the last 30 seconds, which felt like 30 minutes. It's the lower state title.
Were they able to set anything up, or were you able to just shut it down after the kickoff?
Yeah, no, it was insane. Like it was.
I remember. There's video somewhere.
Yeah, I think WJCL has or WTO. One of them has it.
Carlo was there for us that night too.
Yes,
that was when Carlo was doing
somebody else. It was so many things, but 6 years ago in today's technology is like 20 years ago in real life. So,
true.
But yeah, it was a game that we expected to go the way it went. 2 of the top teams in 4A. Obviously, it's going to be a tough matchup. So it was fun, and I'm glad we got the win. So now we just got to we have 3 more region games left the rest of the season. We got Buford Friday, but before that, we host Parkview from Atlanta, Georgia on Thursday. And then we go to Buford on Friday. And I think tomorrow, Bishop England travels to Bluffton, who got a big win over Hilton Head Friday night in the Bridge Derby. And then Friday, Bishop has to come back down here and travel to Hilton Head. So not a favorable schedule for them. Us Friday night coming to us and going to Bluffton Tuesday and then going to Hilton Head on Friday.
Yeah,
You
busy
said
schedule for
Bluffton
you guys.
beat Hilton Head? I had that reversed in my head for some
Yes,
reason.
Bluffton won the
they
second
went
meeting. That was
2-1.
on Friday.
Yeah.
And 2-1.
Oh, yeah, because that pulled them
Yeah.
even
Yep.
in
Uh,
with Hilton
region. So
Head
they're
for
both 3
yeah,
and 2 in
there
the
there were
region.
some beautiful goals in that match. When I was looking back and forth between them and the Bluffton May River baseball game, which were you able to follow that? That was an extra inning thrill over there,
Oh, yeah.
back and forth. Misa, what a
Yeah,
big win for the
I saw in the group chat that we have that somebody posted it. He was offside on that goal.
Yeah.
I saw in the group chat that it was like Mirror was up and then Bluffton went up late. And then next thing you know, it was 12-8 in the 8th inning or something like that. And I was like, okay, good job. Let's get it in. But I mean, it's entertaining games all across the Lowco Friday, baseball and soccer with Bluffton, Hilton Head, Bluffton, May River baseball, and then Bishop England, May River soccer. So a good fun night for the spectators. Yeah, that one was a bit stressful right there because that was right in the second half, like early, and then they'll score here in a few minutes. But it was fun game, stressful game, but very tough competitive game. We didn't expect anything less when Bishop England is in town. So hopefully a result goes our way this week. And one of our county brothers pulls off an upset. So
yeah, because what's the tiebreaker situation? You're going to lose it on goal differential.
Yeah, so the way the region tiebreaker goes, because we went to penalties, technically it's 1-1 final, but for region tiebreaking purposes, it goes as 2-1. So the goal differential is -1 for us because they beat us by 2 goals.
Right.
We beat them by 1 goal. So if we both win out, they finish atop. If we win out and they lose 1 game, then obviously we win. But any scenario where we're both tied in region standings, they have the head-to-head goal differential.
Right.
So.
Yeah. If it becomes a 3-way tie, then it's a whole different tiebreaker situation.
Yeah, if it's a 3-way tie, it goes to less goals allowed.
Right.
Less goals allowed. No, goal differential in the region games, I think. Where right now we are in first place. So we have the highest goal differential in region matches. So
okay. Yeah, could be interesting. Looks like you and Bishop England are the leaders, but certainly there's some talented teams on your heels. So we'll see how it shakes out in the region, and we'll check out more of these highlights a little bit later on. We'll get on with the show here. Our show tonight, the LowcoSports Lowdown, presented by Mickelson Law Firm, our original sponsor, our all-star sponsor. They've been with us since the beginning in 2017 and supported this little dream of mine to keep local sports media going here in the Low Country, and we appreciate their support. They're our official real estate closing attorney and presenting sponsor of our Hilton Head Christian Academy coverage, and we hope you'll call on them for all your legal needs right in downtown Bluffton. Mickelson Law Firm, and tonight they present our special guests, our super awesome friend Jeff Riley and his coach, Coach Brad Samardzija from SOAR Special Recreation. Guys, how you doing tonight?
Very good.
Doing good.
I'll tell you what, we've had you on to talk about USB basketball, but now it's your turn. You guys are the stars that we're talking about because you guys are getting ready to do what they did a month ago, and compete in the tournament basketball.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jeff. Welcome back, buddy.
Thank you.
How you been?
I've been doing good. Yeah. Practice was awesome tonight.
I heard that one of my old friends, Pascal Roca, who played soccer at USCB and now she's a college soccer coach, that she was there checking out her brother Matthew, who I've known for a long time. So that was pretty cool. USCB alumnus coming back, and you recruited a newcomer to the show, Coach Brad. Brad, welcome, man. Tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got involved with coaching the Special Olympics basketball teams.
Yeah. So I originally grew up in Pennsylvania, played a lot of basketball. You can't tell, but I'm 6'7", and
okay, that helps.
Played a lot of hoops and went to Penn State, and actually was on a track team at Penn State. I was basketball on a high jumper, and I just love basketball. So I coach my kids through travel basketball in Concord, Massachusetts. And I had a Special Olympian cousin who I grew up with. And so when I moved down here to Bluffton, I just called up the Special Olympics and said I love to coach and I would love to help out. And they said we need a 5-on-5 basketball coach for the Beaufort County Special Olympians. And I said, I'm in. And so I'm on my third year, actually, and really glad to have Jeff on the team, actually. He's one of our better players, I think. And he wasn't there last year, so I think he's going to be a great addition.
That's cool. Jeff, let's get you in here more. Talk about your experience playing on this team and more about your game and what you've brought to this team so far.
I think I brought a lot of energy to the team, and a lot of people like me on the team, and I just building a lot of friendships on there.
Yeah, Jeff is very positive, and he listens well, and he actually sees the whole court. So I watch Jeff, and you know, you get him the ball, he passes, he knows where he should be on defense. He actually can shoot the ball. So he's an all-around player, and we've got our first game this weekend. We have a big tournament actually in Charleston, so we have 2 games this Saturday afternoon, and we're looking forward to it.
Yeah, so we had talked to Jeff about that before. He knew you had a tournament coming up in Charleston, and then there was maybe another one. We were trying to kind of figure out, is it like a regional tournament and then you can qualify for the state tournament, or just kind of give us the lay of the land of what we're looking at here over the next few weeks?
Yeah, it's the Charleston tournament. We go every year. It's on Daniels Island, and it's actually quite good. If anybody wants to go, we're playing at 1:15 in Daniels Island in the gym. It's like an invitational, so Mount Pleasant and a couple other teams are there. Really good quality. They have actually Special Olympian cheerleaders as well there. So it's really well done. And then 2 weeks after that is the Special Olympics State Championship. So all the Special Olympian teams go to Columbia, and actually we play outside of Columbia, and everybody's a winner. So everybody gets medals. That kind of great stuff. So
outstanding. So basically you get to go do a dress rehearsal this weekend up in Charleston and get prepped for that state tournament.
Exactly. So we'll see how we do, but I think we've got a good team.
Yeah. Is there an opportunity to advance to a national championship or anything for a champion, or?
Probably not, although it's interesting because the Beaufort County Special Olympic team has sent some champions to bowling, actually. So they went to Frankfurt, Germany, and Charlotte actually participated in the bowling, which
and won a state champion or a national championship, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Actually, I believe so. So, but you know what? I just have to comment that everybody on the team compliments everybody else. So it's very positive.
It's great.
Nobody criticizes. They support each other. They cheer for each other. So I've really had a great time coaching.
That's called a team culture, Coach, and you build that. I mean, you set the tone for that. So congratulations to you and your athletes for building a positive culture. Because as you know, having coached in the competitive realm, culture and chemistry are everything. You can have as much talent as you want, but if they can't get along and play well together and care more about the team than they do about themselves and their role on the team, then it's not going to work very well. So sounds like you're passing on all the right lessons. And we've gotten to see some of your players in action during the USCB games when they put on their exhibitions at halftime. And you got some really good players, including Jeff, of course, Jacob, who has taken on a new role as mascot security for Finnegan. And then I don't know all their names, but there's a woman who is tough on the boards and finishes everyone. It's a fun group. So shout out some of your stars that are going to be playing this weekend.
Yeah, Jacqueline's tenacious on the boards. Actually, our speedster, Charlotte, she steals the ball from all these guys and takes it down the court. So we have men and women. They're all really solid. We have Sloan, who goes coast to coast with his layups. Steven, who blocks a lot of shots. He's a big guy. So, yeah, just a lot of talent. today's practice was special, Jeff, right? So we actually had a member from the USCB's men's team and one from the women's team join us. And so we did some contests and they led. Jeff, tell them about our dribble contest, our relay race we had.
Yeah, we did a relay race, and I invited them to the practice to help me with the project I'm doing for one of my classes, and they helped me show inclusion. And so it was fun. And
try to make it fun.
Yeah, and we were.
So Jeff, I know you know every one of those USCB players. Who were your special guests today?
Kyle was there, and Madison was there.
Okay, so Kyle Pulse and Maddie Self, two excellent choices.
Yeah,
two kids who really play hard and have team first attitudes for sure.
So is this team co-ed? Is that how they do it here? Or is there
it's co-ed. And so today we had those two USCB players. So we had each one led a team, and we had to dribble down the court and back, and the next player goes, and the next player goes, and the loser has to do jumping jacks. So actually 1-1, and we went down to the final third go around, and it ended up in a tie. So we all did jumping jacks today.
All right. I always hope that the intra squad competitions end in a tie as a coach. And I agree that we all do the exercise at the end that we were going to make the losers do to get better. And I think Coach Misa is smiling because he agrees too. That's the best case scenario. We tie, but everybody goes as hard as they can go. But Brad, going back to just your background in basketball and making that transition to Special Olympics, do you ever get back and coach able-bodied basketball? I mean, regular basketball, not able-bodied, I guess I shouldn't say, but regular basketball too, or is it all Special Olympics now? Have you found that is more kind of the niche, the purposeful niche that you want to fill right now?
Well, it's interesting you said that because so I just retired last week because I've been working for a cybersecurity software company, and after 45 years, I'm like, okay, I need to have a little more fun. I did call the high school, the Catholic high school here, and they needed a 7th grade women's coach, and I couldn't do it last year, but I was highly tempted. I have to tell you, I've coached boys and girls teams, 6th, 7th, and 8th. I actually have the most fun with the girls.
I can't agree more.
They listen really well. You know, the boys, of course, you got to blow your whistle a little more, and they're kind of playing around a little bit. The girls were tenacious. They listened, had a lot of fun. So it sounds like you had the same experience.
I couldn't agree more. You know, I coached my son first because he was older. And so he came through first, and I coached him in baseball since he was little, and we've had a travel team since we were 8, and he's now 14. And then my daughter was a gymnast, and I didn't know how to coach that, so I just stayed out of the way. But when she transitioned and started playing softball, I started coaching her, and boy, did I find the same thing. Girls were so much easier to coach, starting at the rec level. And that's how I became the head varsity softball coach at Hardyville High School, because we needed a baseball coach and a softball coach. And I said, man, you can't tell these teenage boys nothing right now. I'm not trying to build this program up. But I started a girls program with nobody who's ever played softball other than a few who played 4 games last year. And we got 23 girls out, and they're buying in and playing hard, and we're getting better every day like you're supposed to. Yes, I completely agree with you. Girls are a lot easier to coach, at least in that like adolescent age group, for sure.
So yeah, Jeff and team aren't hard to coach, but I have to tell you, a whistle really works. So my voice isn't that booming, but when I blow that whistle, everybody stops. So I love my whistle, right, Jeff?
Yeah, I can attest to that. Yeah. And my buddy Nick got number 30. That's Steph Curry's number. Nick got
it is.
Number. And then Tyler got 35. So that's Kevin Durant's number. So
sure is.
Yeah.
So this is is this integrated? Is that what the word they use? What is the word they use for it?
Well, so Special Olympics is interesting. I think we go from age 18 to whatever.
Okay, so
And
these are
men
18 and
and
older.
women. It's men and women, and what they do have is they have two varieties. They have one called Unified Partners, where
Unified. That's what I was trying to think of.
non-Special Olympians to help out, bring the ball up, etc. And we actually have two volunteers to help do that. And then there's another section where it's just Special Olympians. And so actually we have one game of each this Saturday. So
very good.
It'll be interesting. Our hardest thing, honestly, is bringing the ball up the court and getting things going. That's the most difficult. Everything else is pretty good.
Yeah, so that's I was wondering how the unified game works. So it's essentially they bring the ball up the court, distribute it, and then kind of get out of the way.
That's the goal. Apparently, in the past in the States, there's been a few unified partners that tended to shoot too much.
The ringer.
When I'm coaching, the rule will be you're not allowed to shoot. You pass it, and rebound, but don't shoot. Let the team shoot. We'll let Jeff shoot.
Yeah, exactly. Just hand it off to just find an open person, please.
Exactly.
Your job is to get as many assists as possible. But don't let it overcome you and take the shot. Misa, you got any questions for these guys? I see you're over there on mute. Must be noisy over at the Misa household.
Yeah, kids are out here around late night. But no, Jeff, I wanted to ask you, what's been the most fun thing you've done so far this season, playing basketball with Coach Brad and your teammates that you've enjoyed the most?
Just having fun, and I'm glad I got Nick and Tyler to come out and help and got them involved. That's made a difference, I think, in all the athletes.
I think Jeff must know everybody in Beaufort County.
Seems like it. Between the two of us, I think we got them all covered. But no, Jeff is talking about Nick and Tyler Montford, who their mom, Gina, is the associate athletic director at USCB and a great friend of mine for a long time. And, Nick and Tyler both are always at the USCB games. They fell in love with Jeff the same way that I did, because like you said, Coach, he's just the most positive person that you will ever come across. I mean, just always smiling. I've never seen him upset about anything. Just very understanding and open-minded. And he comes and volunteers at my school in Hardyville pretty regularly, and I just love to have him there. I feel like it makes everybody's day brighter. But certainly, Jeff, you've developed a great relationship with Nick and Tyler, especially with Nick. So tell us a little bit more about about how you guys have become friends.
Yeah, when I first met Nick, I told him I wanted to get involved and help out with basketball, and he got me the mopper. And when I interviewed Gina when I interviewed Gina today and Quinn for my project, Quinn said I'm the best mopper. So of all the people in the league, yeah.
There's no question. I mean, that's how we met, because I went up to you when I saw you eating your dinner in between games, and I was going to get my dinner. I went up to you and said, "Hey, man, you are the best on that mop. You do a great job." And I meant it, because you really do. When the ball's still in play at the other end of the floor, you get out there and mop it up. And a lot of people wouldn't think about doing that and wouldn't have the boldness to do that. But it's important, because especially the way our guys play, a lot of times they're coming back fast the other way. And if there's wetness under the basket, you've got a real dangerous situation. So I was not blowing smoke when I said you're the best mopper, and neither is Quinn. You're as good as he gets. Your attention to detail and ability to stay focused and be Johnny on the spot is unmatched. And we appreciate you, buddy.
Yeah, I wish they had videos of me mopping the floor.
Well, I could probably find some if I looked hard enough. There's probably one time where the camera operator forgot to pan, and we saw you mopping up the floor down there. But I don't know. We'll see. But any more questions for these guys before we let them call it a night?
Take a quick break. So, but before I go, just say, hey, setting a great example for the community. Love what you've been doing for USCB, and good luck in this tournament. Really rooting for you guys, big time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Wes. Yeah.
Well, thanks so much, guys, and we'll definitely get you on again real soon. We'll definitely have to get a recap after that state tournament of how things went, and hopefully, Jeff, maybe if any of your friends are into the videography, maybe they can get us some highlights that we can show the next time that you guys come on the show, so we can give you guys some love for your great basketball. How about that?
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Well, thanks, Brad. Appreciate it. I'm going to go back and watch the finals, Houston and Florida.
Yeah, we got a good one going. So sorry to take you away from it, but we'll get you out of here so you can see the rest of it. Thanks so much, fellas. Brad, great to talk with you, and we'll see you real soon.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, guys.
Be well. That's our super awesome friend, Jeff Riley, and our new friend, Coach Brad Samardzija from SOAR Special Recreation. That was awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome.
We got to show them love, and I know Misa, that you had the track meet over at May River the other week, and we talked about that, but just a tremendous organization, and we all try to give back where we can, and if you have the financial means, you try to give to organizations and things like that. There's no better one than Special Olympics. Just the inclusion that it creates and the opportunities. I mean, look at Jeff, man. Jeff's about to get his degree from USCB. We are very seriously talking about what kind of role he wants at the Ville next year, because we want him in our building. He's the kind of person you want in your organization. So
absolutely.
I can't say enough about Special Olympics and people like Coach Brad who volunteer their time and services to something as purposeful as that. That's really cool. All right, boys. Yeah, so we're done with that. Moving on to the next thing. Sorry, it's been just the longest. How many long days in a row has it been, Misa?
Only Monday.
Have you been counting?
No, it's only Monday.
Yeah, I know, but have you?
I had a film session because we couldn't be on the field because it was the weather. So I had a nice short film session. I got to get home early. So I today I've been like, pretty relaxed, So it's been a good day, It's been but there are moments where it's very long and very stressful. You just kind of get through it and best you can, and wake up the next morning and do it again.
It's just too much to think about, too much to figure out. Stuck between hope and doubt, got too much to think about. That's Todd Snyder for you. But it is these rainout days. Here's another insight into coaching life that people don't know about, but even the threat of rain adds so much stress to your day. All that you can do all day is converse with people about the rain and check on the rain and try to make plans for if it rains or if it doesn't rain. And then if it does get rained out, when are we going to make it up? It consumes you. It's all you can think about.
Yeah, it's crazy because when we didn't have the turf, it felt like every year we had 2 or 3 games get rained out at May River with soccer. And since we've had the turf, it rains on every other day except when we have games. But like for us, last night, my coaching staff, they're asking like, hey, what's the game plan for tomorrow? The weather's gonna be bad. I didn't even check the weather. I was like, let me see what's going on. And then earlier today, our AD, sends a message out, hey guys, just prepare for possible weather, alterations, and we have open season and we have all these things going on. Our boys lacrosse team was going to host James Island tonight at the tank, and so it's just trying to figure out, hey, do we have enough space? Who needs to practice indoors? We have the gym, we have this, we have all these teams. And then I think around early afternoon, he was like, hey guys, we're gonna up to you. Either you can cancel or we're going inside. So I opted to do a film session. We just get my guys some rest and get ready for our non-region game Thursday. But then you had, like we have track, we have girls lacrosse, we have girls soccer, we have softball, we have baseball, so just trying to find the space is stressful. But today we had versus May River baseball. So now I got to play a doubleheader tomorrow. And what's up about that is, that these games, this series could determine your seeding in the playoffs. So, but you have this much time left to get games in.
Right. You got to get them in.
It's a lot. It's definitely stressful in the spring with the weather and just the spring showers that we get around here, just random. And the thing is,
yeah, and like you said, just the sheer number of kids involved, like you just can't put them. You don't have space to put them all inside. Like I can't. I tried running indoor practice a couple times, and it was chaos, man. Maybe if we had fewer kids, but like it was there were balls flying everywhere. It was dangerous.
yeah.
I did not care, but we were finding softballs in the gym for a week. But yeah, so I'm out on that. But even like the weight room had to been musty. Ugh. Like we just shut it down today. Partly because we didn't know how bad it was going to be, and we wanted to get kids home on the buses.
That's true too.
You know, we didn't want people waiting around at the school for rides and rides having to come and get them if it was going to be real nasty. And it didn't really end up doing that, but that's what we were concerned about. But anyway, some sponsors. Welcome back to the Lowco Booster Club, Hudson Seafood House on the docks. Great place for seafood, sunsets, and cocktails on Hilton Head Island. Probably not tonight, but most nights. Presenting sponsor of Under the Bus. New episode came out. What night did we do that? Friday night. I did it with the boys, and then we'll be back on Wednesday because we got to get it in before we get to the Masters. They want to talk Masters. So we'll be on. Bob Stevens still in Africa, so I'm still sitting in for Bob for another week on Under the Bus, presented by Hudson Seafood House on the docks, and our new sponsor, Hilton Head Furniture. Thanks to Max, the Satola family has come on board. They have great furniture built up in Hickory, North Carolina, brought down to Hilton Head, where they can sell it to you to put in your house for a long time because they have quality stuff. So go to Hilton Head Furniture for all your furniture needs. So Misa, looking at the soccer races now, yeah, I'm familiar with this joke. Pilgrims, yeah, Pilgrims is the answer. Todd Snyder was born in Portland, Oregon, City of Roses. He's one of my all-time favorite songwriters. Great song about D.B. Cooper, which is one of my all-time favorite stories. D.B. Cooper was 43 when we first heard his name. And also a great one about Doc Ellis, who once threw a no-hitter while under the influence of LSD. Very interesting story.
That's impressive.
Very interesting story. There's a whole documentary on that you might want to check out. But no, Misa, you and Bishop England, we talked about it. You guys are tied atop the standings. They hold the tiebreaker for the moment. Who's got the best shot to maybe upset them and help you out?
I mean, both games will be tough. I know the first time, so tomorrow I can kind of preview tomorrow's game. Let me put on my analyst hat here. But first time Bluffton played at Bishop England was 2-0. They scored 2 goals in the first half, and then it was scoreless second half. But Bluffton was able to get some attack going. So one thing that in talking to the coaches, whether it's Coach Fox at Bluffton and Coach Savarese at Hilton Head, we were curious how Bishop England will do on the turf. Just because they have a natural grass field, their field is beat up. No faults of theirs. They have one field for lacrosse and soccer, and
right
go deep into the season. So we wanted to see kind of how they would do, because that does give them hopeful advantage. So I think after playing us Friday night, it was a tough physical game. They turned around that Saturday and played Wando, who's on the Max Preps ranking number 5 in the nation, in state rankings, in the coaches poll, the number 1 overall in the state in the overall ranking. So they're a powerhouse. You go from traveling to us Saturday, you play a strong Wando team, you lose 2-0. Tonight they were supposed to play Pamela Scholars, which wouldn't have been much of a game. It's just a 1A school. But then you got to come back down here tomorrow, get on the bus, and then play Bluffton. Players are still recovering from Friday and Saturday. So that's going to be,
that's real.
Hopefully in Bluffton's advantage. And then, depending how that game goes, you get Wednesday, Thursday, and then you got to come back down here Friday, even further out for them to go all the way to the island to play Hilton Head at the Nest. So I think defensively, Hilton Head is a stronger team defensively, just from what we experienced when we played both teams. Hilton Head was stronger defensively. I think Bluffton and Hilton Head are both even in terms of attack. They have different styles of attack. So it just depends on, can Bluffton score early and kind of hold on. I think Hilton Head will give them a bigger challenge because of defensive nature. When they played the first time, Hilton Head lost 1-0 at Bishop England.
Right.
But I think both games are going to be close. Like, once again, here we are, Region 6, 4A is 4 teams in the top 10. You know,
Down
so
to the wire.
it's no different. You know, we were fortunate to go 4-1 the front end of the schedule. Now we got to begin the back end, but you know, Hilton Head and Bluffton are fighting for playoff positioning. You know, they're both tied 3-3 in the region.
Right.
Hilton Head owns a tiebreaker because of the goal differential. But if both teams beat Bishop England this week, that puts Bishop England at 6-3. And that puts both Bluffton and Hilton Head right back in the race and just makes it complete chaos. But it's going to be tough. I think Hilton Head has a strong chance. I think Bluffton has a good chance. Defensively, Hilton Head is much more solid. And that's what's kind of give me the edge that they might be able to pull the upset Friday. But Bluffton did really well Friday against Hilton Head, you know. And they're playing at home, a bigger field. They have the biggest field in the region. So that will work to their advantage because it's bigger than what Bishop is used to. So we'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be this is the time of the year where it really starts to ramp up when you're starting to compete for those top spots in the region. You're trying to secure those playoff berths. It's a fun time, and I like this Mirror team a lot. I think you guys have really done a great job defensively where it has started, but the goal scoring has come along as well as the year has unfolded. And I'm pumped to see you guys compete and continue to get better towards the playoffs. I mean, it's a tough region, and that Bishop England win, absolutely huge one. So fantastic to see you guys get that W, and it's tight. I mean, I think Bluffton and Hilton Head are two very solid teams. Both teams splitting their two meetings. Bishop England is showing why they're a solid group, and I think May River is right up there. I mean, they've you guys have a chance to get that top spot in the stable, and I've really enjoyed watching y'all play, especially that one against Hilton Head, which I saw. But it's getting down to it. Only a couple more weeks before playoffs.
Yeah, definitely. You're looking at the rankings here that JJ has up. This is the RPI, which determines the region seeding. So right now, Great Collegiate is number 1. They have a really strong overall record. Their strength of schedule is not as strong as the other teams in our region.
Are they upper state or lower state
They're lower state. So they're region 4. So they're lower state. So right now in the top 10, you're looking at Great Collegiate's lower state, May River's lower state, South Florence's lower state, Daniels upper state, Bishop England lower state, Renner's upper state, AC Flores upper state, Bluffton Hilton Head lower state. Okay. Yep, and then West Side's upper state. So you're looking at what, 6 teams?
6, yeah.
In the upper state.
It's going to be a gauntlet.
And you look at our region. I mean, we're number 2 in RPI. Look at our opponent winning percentage. Look at Bishop England number 5 in RPI. Look at their opponent percentage. And look at Bluffton Hilton Head. I mean, it's we don't take it lightly in our region. We know how difficult it is, so we schedule accordingly, all 4 of us. And it's just right now a matter of who will survive in the end. Now, what I've come to realize with this RPI, what I don't like is you see a team like South Florence. They're 7-1, but if you look at their strength of schedule, it's in the negatives. Like they have a very, very weak schedule, but because they have such a high winning percentage, it completely boosts them up in the rankings. And either way, they win their region, they're the 3 seed automatically. But I do hope in the future that we have a situation where the region champions get seeded 1 through 3 as they should, and then the rest is just based on strength of schedule. Because right now, if the playoffs were to start today, guys, the 7-10 matchup would be Bluffton versus Hilton Head in the first round.
Yuck.
And the winner would play the 2 seed, which right now would be Bishop England because they are the region champs.
Well, see, those are the with this new playoff bracket, you shouldn't be playing the teams in your same region right away in the playoffs that much. It just I guess sometimes it's how the matchups are, especially with how good this region has been. I mean, it just.
I think they're going to have to start doing a thing where they can have the latitude to flip flop one line in seeding to avoid inter-region matchups because nobody likes it. It's not good, and we got to fix it. It was one of those unforeseen circumstances, right? Like it's a good idea. I do think overall that it's better to do it this way than the old way. But all you have to do is just add a little caveat that if we're going to have matchups of region teams in the first round, we're going to switch one line. Because, I mean, does it really matter that much if you're the 7 or the 8 or the 9 or the 10? You know, I mean, So let's just flip them one line and not have that region matchup. Now, where you're going to get problems then is, well, we wanted you to flip it the other way. We wanted that other matchup in the second round. Like, no, I don't know how we fix that, because people are definitely going to whine about it. So you have to find some kind of procedure that determines it. Whichever one is the closest to each other in RPI ranking is the one that gets switched, is probably the easiest way to do it, right? The narrowest margin between two teams that need to be switched is the one you switch. But they're going to have to talk all that out in a room of hundreds of athletic directors. So good luck coming to a consensus on how to do it.
And what's crazy, JJ, with that, like if you look at it in the South, in the lower state here, right now, Hilton has the 3 seed. They're 9th in the RPI. The next 3 seed in the lower state is North Augusta, and they're 14th.
14th, yeah.
So you look at it, and granted, West Side, Greer, Lancaster, and South Side are all upper state teams. So that scenario works out perfect, where it's like, okay, we're going to flip you guys. So Hilton Head, you'll be the 8 seed. So because the 10 seed is Bluffton, or if we go the other way, then you have, okay, South Aiken is the 11 seed, Bluffton's the 10 seed. You can flip those out, and then you have a matchup where it's not, because it's going to be unfair. Like, unless something happens with the final rankings, it's pretty inevitable that it's going to be 7-10 Hilton Head Bluffton. Whoever gets home is whoever's the 3 seed. And that's 2 top 10 teams in 4A. They're going to play in the first round. And then you win that, and you're going to probably, potentially, depending how great Collegiate does and how our region champion does,
2 seed, potentially another region team.
Champion. Yeah, the same. So your first 2 rounds are region teams, and it's
a region tournament,
pretty much.
When in reality, if they did it the old way, we probably would have had 4 region teams advance out to the lower state semis.
That we had the last 2 years in boys soccer,
right? Which is probably why some regions wanted to do it this other way.
like Region 5, which is the South Florence region, definitely benefits from this setup.
Yeah,
it is what it is, because year by year it could change, because it's not just soccer; it's different sports, so we're aware of that.
Right?
Every sport has been doing.
Yeah, it benefits other schools in other sports.
And the high school league doesn't have the ability to just itemize and say, "Hey, soccer, we're going to use this format."
Right.
It works.
Right.
They won't do that. It's too much work for them. They struggle enough as it is with what they got to deal with. So,
it's just too many people to get on board, and
that too.
Like, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, managing this bear is a lot. Like, they do a heck of a job for us to even have organization within. Like, everybody at least knows what's going to happen, and like we all know the playoff brackets as soon as the season's over. Because it's all transparent and clear. Whereas we've talked about in Skiza, it's like, I wonder who and when and where we're going to play the day before the tournament's supposed to start. Sometimes,
or the day of.
We scared off all our viewers with math talk. Kevin Libby doesn't like math, but I'm an autist who enjoys math. So we're going to talk a little math. But speaking of that same thing on the soccer front, we were looking at the 1A RPI today, 1A boys, which is interesting. And here's what we were noting. Same thing. Denmark Olar, they've got a 6-3 record somehow, but like they're ranked ahead of Hardyville, which is
they've only got 1 region win, maybe 2.
Well, there was an interesting ordeal the other night. Have you heard about it?
Yes, and that counted as a forfeit win for Denmark.
Really? Because the latest I heard was that they were going to have to pick it up where they left it off. And I also heard that they were going to pick up and play the overtime of the Ridgeland Royal Live Oaks game that they didn't finish. I hope not.
Who's the region coordinator for this region? I wonder who that is. Clearly they're in over their heads. That's crazy, by the way. I mean, look, given what happened between Denmark and Royal Live Oaks, and I'm not going to discuss it here. If you know, if you don't, find out on the.
Let's just say Royal Live Oaks has new head coach Friday.
Yes, there you go. That should be a forfeit. If
it should absolutely be a forfeit
for the safety and well-being, it should absolutely be a forfeit.
Should be a forfeit.
And that's no knock on Royal Live Oaks or anything, but that's the rules. If a ref abandons a match because of their safety and well-being, and that should be a forfeit. Now, I heard that the coach did not get ejected. The coaches did not get ejected. But that should be a forfeit. To have to play that game again and fit it in on the schedule, and then you have to turn around and play. Was it Ridgeland and Royal Live Oaks that finished tied because the referees didn't know?
Didn't know they had to do PKs.
They had to do a winner when we had a PK situation not even the week prior with Hardyville and Royal Live Oaks.
I think if I recall correctly, they didn't even play overtime, right?
No,
they just walked off after regulation.
Game ended and they walked off. That's crazy because that's going to have deep impact on the scenes. Now, for those who don't know, 1A soccer is a committee.
Right.
They meet and they determine. So that's where the RPI will be a factor, but not the factor, because when you look at Hardyville's strength of schedule compared to the other 1A schools, if you use the max versus what the committee uses, it's not even close. Like, it's not even close. Their strength of schedule is far better than most of the teams.
Some of them have stronger schedules than ours somehow, but that's because it only accounts for winning percentage.
Yes,
and
don't look at the percentage
and not the level.
Yeah,
so
look at the strength of
they're
schedule.
beating up. Yeah, they're playing lower level teams that have good records but aren't actually good. Whereas we're playing 4A teams that may not, like Buford doesn't have a good record, but they're better than almost anybody on that list. So yeah, that definitely has a factor. We get to play the Holy Innocents of Atlanta this weekend.
That got canceled, I think. Yes.
No, it was on as of this evening.
Oh, that must have changed. I was told over the weekend it was canceled.
Yeah, it was gonna be canceled, but our we didn't want to do them like that, and Rayleigh rallied the troops, so we're gonna give them our best. Pythagoras was absolutely right. A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
This stat is brought to you by Kevin Libby, who loves math.
I was told there would be no math tonight.
Hardyville's strength of schedule.
I don't know who told you that.
Hardyville's strength of schedule is the second best in 1A right now. The only one better is Dixie. That stat was brought to you by Kevin Libby's
We're
math.
thinking this Green Upstate team's pretty legit though.
Yeah, I think they and Dixie went off with it. Dixie 1-1 and Upstate 1-1.
Yeah. More 1A soccer talk said no one ever. But yeah, baseball race is shaping up as well. Softball is kind of decided. I mean, unless Colleton can knock off May River next time, but May River handled them pretty easily. So it looks like May River is going to walk through it there. But on the baseball side, it is tight. Bishop England's is 6-3, which gives them a half game lead if you're using, traditional baseball standings math, of a half game per game. Beaufort and Bluffton at 4-2, a half game back. May River at 3-3, a game and a half back, and then Hilton Head at 4-5, 2 games back. Colleton still looking for their first win, and who they knock off might be a big determining factor in who ends up finishing where in this region. So it's crazy though. 5 teams within 2 games. Some of them have 9 games left to play. Most of them have 9 games left to play, but Bishop England and Hilton Head only have 6 left to play. So you got to get wins in hand right now because they're hard to come by. So anyway, we got a big baseball slate coming up this week. It was supposed to start tonight with Beaufort at May River, Bluffton at Hilton Head, and I guess that means Bishop England playing Colleton. But I think all those games got pushed to tomorrow, and we'll get back at it tomorrow, and then they'll play again Wednesday and Friday. So it'll be great.
Well, I think Beaufort May River might be a doubleheader tomorrow. I'm not mistaken. I think. Let me go. I thought I saw something saying it would be a doubleheader. I could be wrong. Let me check.
That's crazy.
Let me check.
I could be wrong.
Doubleheaders at the high school level.
It's a lot of baseball, man.
Yeah.
It's a long night. Because by the
Especially
time,
if you're starting like around 5 o'clock, and that's still a lot of baseball.
Yeah, and starting at 5 o'clock is no easy task, man. You got to get kids out of school early, and it's an ordeal. So I have so much respect for coaches now. Oh, my phone just died. Now, granted, at a lot of, at 1A schools, you have a little fewer resources as far as people you can delegate stuff to than you do at larger schools. So it's literally like I mean, I was running around at lunch packing up all the stuff in my dugout to take it inside before it rained. So there's a lot of that going on. We don't have the storage solutions we need either, but we're working on it. We're working on it. Do we find out if it's a doubleheader tomorrow?
I'm trying to find out. I can't find it, but I thought I saw somewhere. Let me see.
All right. Well, while you're looking, I'll shout out some sponsors, and we'll head into the final throes of this thing. Base Hit Live, baseball and softball themed apparel, all kinds of cool T-shirts and hoodies. Don't really need the hoodies anymore this time of year, but the T-shirts come in handy, and they are cool styles, funny messages, stuff that you can show off at the travel ball tournaments. So live your best base hit life at basehitlife.com, and I do wear Base Hit Live shirts to the travel tournaments frequently. Dr. Ambrose Cole, official chiropractor. Find him at Rooted Living Wellness in Bluffton, and he'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit. Reverence Wrestling Club, our official wrestling sponsor and presenting sponsor of the Lowco Grind. And we're going to have to catch up with them soon because they've been sending some kids off to national championships and bringing home hardware. So gotta show some more love to the wrestlers in the Lowco. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country, getting your floors so clean your feet will thank you. And Jay's Barbershop, a place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Final thoughts, fellas?
Okay, so there's not no doubleheader. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday. Tomorrow at May River, JB and Varsity. Wednesday at Buford. Friday, JB and Varsity, May River.
Oh, so that's what they meant by doubleheader. They're now doubling up JV and Varsity.
JB and
Gotcha.
Varsity.
Yep, makes sense. Parting thoughts, Misa Garzon?
Go ahead. I forgot.
Just it's been a very busy and fun spring season for the Lowco area. Seeing a lot of teams, a lot of new programs as well in different sports, just trying out there and getting their feet wet. So it's important that we continue to support those teams, as they're learning and they're growing and trying to set a foundation to build for years to come. It's vital that we don't just look at the big dogs, but that we make sure that we are acknowledging the clubs that, you have lacrosse starting in new schools, you have softball, baseball, you have tennis, you have soccer, and, all these different sports that schools are trying to do more just to give our kids more access, because at the end of the day, sports is an avenue we can use to impact young people's lives in ways that can help them in the future and keep them out of trouble. So, when we celebrate every sport and all these programs that are going on, like what you're seeing at Hardyville, what JJ and Max are doing, and where you're seeing what lacrosse at these private schools trying to start something, it just provides more avenues for these kids to find something to do, to enjoy, have fun, build memories, build relationships with. And so, just keep supporting it out there if you don't have anything to do. And, I appreciate when Justin puts on social media, hey, we need, not baseball, but softball mitts, or we need this, come and support, and the outpouring. Go and support, even if you don't have the time to put in, just, hey, what do you guys need? I got equipment or whatever the case may be. So shout out to all the spring sports that are going on. It makes it difficult because we have so many teams now in the area, but it's a beautiful problem to have. So keep at it, keep supporting families, keep supporting your children and their endeavors. Keep supporting your student athletes, teachers, staff, administrators, schools, districts, because this is where memories are built, for sports. So even if they never win a championship or never win a game, I was fortunate when I was in high school at Jasper County, we didn't win our first game till my junior year in soccer. And the first 2 years, we didn't have enough players to play a full team. But who I am now was molded of what I experienced then. And I'm fortunate to be in the situation I'm in because of what I experienced and learned at that moment and that time. So keep at it, keep supporting. Kudos to you, JJ, Wes, Max, the whole LowcoSports crew, because you guys are out there grinding, then coming here and doing the live shows as best as you can every week on things to keep people updated. So keep it up, man. Just keep supporting sports around here, man, because it could be gone very fast, and that would be very unfortunate for our youth and our future.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true. There's a lot of programs that are hanging by a thread, because they don't have the numbers, or they don't have the budget, or they don't have the facilities, or they don't have whatever. And it, I've always known it to be true, but now I've seen it firsthand that sports 100% is a vital part of building a foundation for kids. I mean, just the team first philosophy, the all the traits that you try to instill, all the ideas you try to instill, as a coach are going to carry with them into life. You're building a foundation to be great at whatever you do, really.
Yeah.
And keeping them out of trouble, that's real too. Because I've had some that have turned it around because we told them they had to, and
Absolutely.
we've had some that couldn't and weren't with the team anymore, and then they got in trouble after, so that stuff's real. Yeah, I was part of a golf team in high school with Tater, Josh Green, checking in from Southeast Kansas. We did have some good guys: Nate Kirk, Brian Simpson. Tater hit me in the head with a golf ball one time. Tater was new to the sport. He came out for golf. I was on the green lining up my putt, and I hear 4, and I hit a one hop rocket right in the noggin. And yeah, Tater was like, I didn't think I was going to hit the green. And well, he did, and he hit me square in the forehead. But it was good times nonetheless. Wes, parting thoughts, buddy?
Yeah, I have a couple. The first one is it was news that dropped really late last night. It had to be around like 11:30, or just before I went to bed, or close to it. And it was big news in Major League Baseball because the Toronto Blue Jays finally able to strike a deal with Vlad Guerrero Jr. 14 years, $500 million is
Nice
what I'm
money.
hearing.
Nice work if you can get it.
Yeah, that is some crazy sums of money for, and there were talks, negotiations for a long time. It's the third largest deal in Major League Baseball history, and in terms of just the inflation, only Juan Soto's was more lucrative than Vlad Guerrero, but certainly a rising star in the baseball world, and someone you just cannot let slip away from your franchise. So huge win for Toronto to keep him around, and he brings so much star power for that franchise, and he's going to be that franchise player for many years to come for the Jays, and they definitely needed him to stick around. But
I
yeah,
dreamed on him as a Cub for a little while.
Well, there is a little chance you might
very
possibly
small.
to Chicago. You never knew, but ends up he's going to be a Jay for a long time. So great,
Glad he is.
slight relief for sure for the Blue
Glad
Jays.
he's definitely richer than Daddy. They wasn't making that kind of dough in Daddy's days. I don't think Daddy made 500 grand in his whole,
No
or
way,
500
no
mil in
way.
his whole career. Not even close.
Yeah,
Now I got to look it up. What else you got, Wes?
For Montreal. So, well, it is official. It's Masters Week. It is Masters Week. Par 3 contest on Wednesday and the tournament on Thursday. But what I wanted to talk about is what is going on tomorrow night. The world famous champions dinner. And so each year, the past champion of the Masters gets to choose the grub, what's for dinner that night. And so Scotty Scheffler, I'll tell you what's on the menu because they tweeted on the Masters page a couple days ago. I remember this, because I saw it somewhere else. And
I heard it. Yeah, I heard it on
yeah,
Corn
we got
so
we got sliders for appetizers, shrimp, meatball and ravioli bites. We got Texas style chili. All the fixings are there, and then either ribeye or a blackened redfish is the main course, and then the chocolate chip skillet for dessert. Man, does that sound good?
I love a chocolate chip skillet cookie now.
That's one of the best desserts you can find.
So good. Put some vanilla ice cream on
Good
top.
choices. Good choices from Scotty. Good choices.
Yeah, I heard some criticism because it was very similar to his menu from last year, I guess.
Oh,
and so people were like, "Come on, man, you gotta mix it up a little. It's another basic Texas meal." But we got to know Scotty a little bit, as much as you can, as a journalist covering an athlete for a week. But we wrote about him. We analyzed him a lot. We wrote about him a lot. We talked to his dad, so you get a little bit of the picture of the person. Certainly, I mean, I certainly do, because that's what I'm doing the whole time, is analyzing the person and trying to figure out what makes them who they are and so great, and Scotty to me comes across as just a basic dude, like he likes what he likes. And if it was good last year, I mean, if there was something he wanted to adjust, he adjusted it. But if it was perfect last year, I ain't messing with it.
Mhm.
That seems like the kind of guy he is. So I'm not surprised that he didn't really, get exotic with it or anything. And it sounds like a hella good meal. I hope there's some brisket in that Texas style chili. I would probably go ribeye, but black and red fish is like my favorite kind of fish. So like that'd be a tough call. That'd be a tough
Yeah.
call. But ribeye sounds very good. Vlad Guerrero Sr., by the way, earned $129 million in his career. So yeah.
Cheap.
So Junior gonna be taking care of him from
Yeah.
now on. Neither one of them needs any taking care of. They're both gonna be
No,
just,
no, they're
just
both, they're
fine.
both,
Just fine.
yeah, they're yeah.
I could go for 129 mil. I think I could make that work for the rest of my days.
Absolutely.
All right, boys. Well, Houston up 6. We got 17 minutes left. Todd Golden's crashing out. Should be a good one. So we're gonna let everybody get out of here and go check out this national championship game, and then cruise on into your Tuesday. We'll see how it goes tomorrow.
Yeah, USC
We
baseball
may-
tomorrow, as I mentioned at the top, against Middle
Yeah.
Georgia, midweek game.
Yeah, decent schedule now with the rainouts and reschedules. So we may have to try to do a Tuesday night show. A little bit, probably a 9:30 show, because the what are we called? Diamond Divas. That's Finley's rec team.
Oh,
They have a double header tomorrow night at Oscar Frazier. So
nice.
I'm gonna be dadding it tomorrow night. But we'll get in here tomorrow night probably and talk with you about what's happening across the Lowco. Thanks so much to our guest tonight, Jeff Riley, and Coach Brad Samardzija. I forgot to bring it up, but I texting with him earlier. He told me that it was pronounced Samardzija, and I said, well, spelled differently, but pronounced like the old Notre Dame wide receiver, Cubs pitcher Jeff. And he said, yeah, we actually might be distant relatives.
Oh, wow.
So it's possible that somewhere along the way, one clan of the family changed the spelling because people couldn't pronounce it or whatever, and they got split off. But I'm always interested in that kind of stuff. Is that more interesting than arithmetic, Kevin Libby? If we talk genealogy
Libby's all over
and
that.
names,
Libby's all over that.
Yeah, it was free. It was free. You didn't have to pay for it. Thanks to our sponsors. You didn't have to pay for it. So thanks to all of our sponsors. Thanks to our guests. And thanks to you, Misa, for stepping up and being the Mad Max fill-in and slash football
I didn't talk enough
analyst.
skis a baseball referee, so I'll try better next time.
No, I think that's probably for the best, though. I think it's good we get a different voice in here from time to time and some different topics. But all right, boys, good times. Go watch this basketball game. Thanks to everybody who joined us. And until next time, for Misa Garzone and Wes Kerr, I'm Justin Jarrett. Go Lowco.
The Lowco Sports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.